Hey there, what's up? It's Johnny here, and welcome to another episode of the 3C Show. The show that's full of photography love. And man, I'm back. And sorry for the hiatus. I know it's been a while. Life has just been hectic, so much going on, lots of good things. And I've also been working on a new landscape photography course that I've been putting all my energy into, and I'm super pumped about that. It's just awesome. But today on the show, I want to talk to you about something that's rarely used in Lightroom. And it's actually one of my favorite things to do to my black and white photography. And that setting is in the develop module, and it's called split toning. Split toning is just, it's just really cool what you can do with it. You can actually colorize the highlights and the shadows differently, and man, it just, you probably have seen it all the time in film. Actually, they do very similar sort of things in video and in movies. So yeah, super cool. Got my coffee, life's good. Have a sip of that, and let's jump over here to Lightroom and get things started. By the way, I should mention that I have my exclusive photography community, Team 3CX. X for extraordinary, extreme. No, I don't know what X is for. I just like X. It's cool. It's just a cool letter. It looks good with 3C, so that's why it's there. But anyway, I have my community, and this actually is one of the lessons that I've done just this month for my Team 3CX community, because every month they get a brand new masterclass that covers landscape and nature photography and post-processing, and then they come into the field with me and see me do all the work, you know, how I capture the image, and then we do our post-processing, and then there's also an assignment every month where you get to submit your images, and then at the end of the month I critique everyone's images, and it's super fun, and it really is the best way to get good at your photography. If you're interested in checking out my membership, becoming part of the community, I'd love to have you aboard, and I want everyone to get involved, and so they can afford to get better at their photography, and I want to help you do it. So anyway, Team 3CX, I'll put a link below. Awesome. Let's get into this. And you can see we've got this awesome black and white image here. It's been taken as a long exposure. Here's the before. It was late afternoon, so maybe an hour before sunset there, and I've shot it. I think it was, let's have a look, Command I for information. Yeah, 46 seconds. So there you go. It was a long one. And you can see it just gives you that silky smooth water. And it's a beautiful looking black and white. But we can do something extra. We can colorize it with the split toning feature in the develop module. So let's get into that. So what is split toning? Let's have a look here over on the right hand side, and you can see split toning. If you don't happen to see it in your develop module, that's because you might have that panel turned off. So if you click inside one of the panels, you'll see you have all the different panels there, all the different sections of your panel, your right-hand panel, and you can tick them on and off. So just make sure split toning is ticked on there, and you'll be able to see it. All right, so let's get started. So what have we got? So we got 5 sliders here. The first one is, you can see, is the highlight section. We have a hue, and that's just basically going to choose your color, okay? And then we have the saturation, and that's going to be the intensity of the color. And then we've got the same down the bottom here for the shadows, you know, so color and intensity of the color. And then we've got this balance slider between highlights and shadows, okay? And then you'll also see these little squares. If you click on one of those, you see here, and it brings up like a color picker, okay? And this is where you can choose what color you want to make in this example for your highlights. All right, so I'm going to go with a really common color, which is yellow highlights and blue shadows, okay? So that's something you'll see a lot of the time when you see split toning, but there's many other different combinations you can do, and just have a Google around the web and see which ones you like. So I'm going to start. Some of their defaults are actually quite nice as well, but what I can do is I can run anywhere over here with my color picker, and at the top you can see the little square. That's the intensity of the color, okay? So say I did want to go with a yellow, and then as I move down the color board like this, you can see the intensity drops. There's also a slider here, okay? So we can move that slider, and that's exactly the same as the saturation slider in the beginning. So I'm just going to go with a preset here. because I kind of like that yellow. It's kind of cool. And you can see on the image, like all the highlights now, if I turn this adjustment on and off, you can see have gone really, really yellow. So don't worry, there will be a part of this tutorial where you'll go, it looks crazy, but that's okay. So, because we're going to adjust it later, okay? So we go down here to the shadows and we click the exact same spot. You'll see the little gray square, and that's for the color picker. And I'm going to choose the nice blue tone there that they've already selected. And that's already looking pretty cool. I would say it's a little bit too intense. When I use split toning, I tend to be, really subtle about it, and I tend that I find gives me the best look. So I've clicked on up the top here. I've got one of the presets, okay, in the little squares at the top, and it's done about 50%, and that's a good place to start, I think, with your saturation, is around that 50% mark. I'm going to do the same around that 50% mark with my highlights as well. And now you can already see we've got very yellow highlights and very blue shadows. Okay, so if I turn that on and off, you can have a look there. Very, very cool. So it's already looking really cool and giving my black and white photo a really unique look, which is awesome. All right, let's go back. So we've got our balance now, and just have a play around with the slider, and there's no like special sauce. There's no like magic number. You really just have to play around with it till you see the look that you're after, okay? So I can't say, oh yeah, do this, do that, but I do know, I do like it subtle. I do like it subtle, and I also like to start with a saturation around 50%, and that's probably all I can tell you. Everything else is up to your creativity. So, all right, let's have a look here. So as you can see, if I move to the left, the shadows become more intense, and the blues in the image, this is the balance slider, become more intense. If I move it to the right, you can see the yellows start to become more intense with the balance slider. So it's about trying to figure out what sort of intensity you want. And I tend to like a little bit more bluer, I think, for this image. That just tends to, like I said, it's up to you. You're the creative artist, so you get to choose. All right, so I've dropped it down there to -14 balance. I've got my saturations on about 50, and I'm just having a play around now. I think that yellows, I can bring the yellow intensity up just a touch there. And let's have a look at the hues. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Not the hue slider, Johnny. The saturation slider for the shadows now. I'm just gonna bring that down there. And let's have a look. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. And you can see now we've got those nice blue shadows, those nice yellow highlights. If I turn that off and on, it's just created something different, something unique. If you are listening to this on the podcast, click the link below and the podcast, and you'll head over to the page and you'll see the before and after of these images on the blog post. So you can see split toning is just a super cool way to really give your images a unique look. You can even use split toning for color image. You don't have to use it for your black and whites, but I tend to find I like it in my black and white landscape photography. It just adds something a little bit extra. So don't forget, just a reminder, if you're interested in joining my exclusive photography community, my online camera club, Team 3CX, check out the link below, and that'll take you there to find out more. And I'd love to have you aboard, and I can't wait to help you with your photography. That's it for this week on the show, and it's great to be back. And oh man, by the way, I'm in my new studio. What do you reckon? It is actually my garage, but AKA this is my new workspace in our house. So yeah, I'm pumped about it. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back. And I hope you guys are awesome. And man, what can I say? Stay inspired, get out there and shoot, and we'll talk again soon. All right, I'm out. Peace.